Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So a lot of you seem to enjoy when I make these advanced tips and tricks for champions because I made one a while ago for Zed and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it and a lot of people did ask for this video. I want to start doing more advanced tricks videos for other champions, and if that's something that you want to see, then let me know by hitting that like button. So here we are, 4 advanced Azir tricks. So let's quickly take a look at the agenda and the tricks that I'll be talking about. So the first thing we'll talk about is what's known to be called the Azirsec. Following that, I'll talk about something I call the back and forth or the EQ duel. The third trick I'll be talking about is going to be called the sneaky Azirsec. And the final one is going to be essentially taking everything that I've showed you in this video and putting it into one big trick that's going to be called the ultimate Azirsec. Now, before we actually talk about the very first trick, there's a quick fundamental thing that you just have to know how to do with Azir in order to be able to do any of these tricks. And it's just simply being able to use your E and your Q ability properly with a soldier. This is a very basic thing to know with Azir, and if you cannot do this properly, you cannot do any of these tricks I'll be mentioning. The way you do it is quite simple. You have the soldier chilling somewhere, you E to the soldier, and the very split second right before you're about to make contact with the soldier, you Q in some other direction. Let's take a very quick look at that one more time. The timing is very specific, so again, E to the soldier, right before I land to the soldier, I press Q to a certain direction and you fly there with the soldier. It's pretty easy to do, but the timing is very specific. So the very first trick I'll be showing you guys is called the Azirsec. This is the one you'll see most Azirs try and pull off because it is very common, but it's also very difficult. Or in other words, it's not as easy as it looks because messing up with this is extremely easy to do, and if you do, well, you're probably gonna be put into a very bad situation. Alright, so how do you do this? Well, again, you have to take the fundamental I just told you and essentially add your ultimate to the end while also positioning yourself properly. Azir's ultimate does come out from behind him, so you don't have to be very far behind your target, but you want to be about the same place that they are, if not further behind. So there you just saw it, but let's take another look in slower motion to see exactly what is happening and how it's done. So you have a soldier somewhat relatively close to where your enemy is, the one you want to insect. You E to the soldier, you Q somewhere to the opponent or behind them, and the second you either land your E or move behind them, you press your ultimate, it fires off, pushes them back into your team, and then you spawn another W beside your wall to attack them and continue on your attack. You'll notice a lot of the tricks I talk about are ones that build on top of each other, so as we go on to the next tricks, you'll see that you're using what you already learned in a previous trick and applying it to something even more advanced. Alright guys, and moving into the second trick I'll be talking about in this video. This one has 2 components to it. The first one we'll be talking about is the EQ duel. This one essentially just means you land your EQ combo with a soldier right on top of an opponent to the point where you deal the Q damage, your E damage with your shield as well, plus another auto attack or your ultimate, which will proc Thunderlords as well, doing an insane amount of damage, give you your shield, and just offer you fantastic dueling power. So the first part is landing the EQ right on top of an enemy champion to do everything I just said. And you want to do this as fast as possible because it gives your opponent much less time to react. So you see here the brand is barely getting away, but he's also really low, so you instantly go right into his face. You also position yourself to continue on the chase or continue on the hunt. So here you actually want to use your W first and instantly E to that W you just created, followed by the Q right after, right into your foe, dealing great damage, getting the shield, and putting yourself in a position to continue on the attack. But this has to be done very quickly. And you'll notice that it's done so fast to the point where there isn't even a cast time bar when I use my E ability at the bottom, and the soldier just barely finishes his spawning animation while you're already sending him to do work. Pretty cool stuff. Now following this is the second part of the trick that is called the back and forth. This is a more advanced version of the EQ duel where essentially you try dodging an ability but then going back into their face, dealing bonus damage, getting the shield, and essentially going in for the attack. Most of you have probably seen this clip already, but this is honestly the best example I have of showing this trick off. So now that you saw it there, let's take one more quick look and see exactly what happened. As I'm clearing the minions, the LeBlanc is coming in to try and go for the kill. She's also very fed, so I have to dodge her W, so I luckily dodge it with my E ability, but then I instantly go back right into her face with my EQ damage. You see the Thunderlords procs right there. I get my shield just to be safe and give me a little bit of extra battle stats, summon the W, and kill her just barely. Overall, one of my favorite ways to outplay someone, but at the same time, it is also very difficult, and I'll admit it was a little bit lucky. And moving on to trick number 3 is gonna be the sneaky Azirsec. This one I found out completely by accident by trying to make something happen in the bot lane. But essentially it's similar to the Azirsec, but this time you do it without the enemy team expecting it by going through several walls. So just like you saw there, they had no idea I was coming through that area, and even if they saw me through that river, chances are they did not expect me to go through both of those walls right underneath their tower and push them all back. And the reason I say that is because personally, and I've played a lot of League of Legends games, I have never seen an Azir do that specific trick. I am going to spend a little bit more time on this specific trick because on top of being able to go through 1 or even 2 walls with Azir and then go for a play like that maybe under the tower, you can also go through 2 walls in many different areas around Summoner's Rift. So right here, you're about to see an example of me doing it for mid lane, pretty much the same concept. You can go through walls where it seems like normally it might be too thick. I honestly feel like this is one of the more fancy things to do with Azir because it looks like you're dashing a very big distance, and a lot of people will be like, wow, that looks pretty damn cool. So just like this example right here, you can actually go all the way from inside the red buff camp all the way into the dragon. And if you could do one way, then of course you could do the other way, going from the dragon all the way to your red buff, which by the way is a fantastic way to get away. So if your team just finished dragon, you're really low, and the enemy team is on their way, boom, use this and you're safe and sound. But be very careful when doing this because you have to time your EQ absolutely perfectly, or else you will mess up and you will not go anywhere. And this one I like a lot as well, where you can go from one side of the wall here beside the wolves and right into the enemy base, or vice versa, going from the enemy base or even allied base through both walls and right into the jungle. But going back to the sneaky Azirsec, you can do this with second tier towers as well, just like you see in this example, going through 2 walls right behind the second tier tower in the bot lane, and boom, the insect is possible. And if you have flash and you have to gap close just a little bit more distance, by all means flash away. But let's take a quick look at this in slow motion. Using the fundamental I taught you earlier, E to the soldier, the second you get to the soldier, you Q over the wall, you should be able to make it, even though it kind of looks like you won't, but you will, and then you ult right as you get to your location. But be very careful not to press your R button too quickly, or else you will whiff your ultimate and it'll simply come out too soon. And the last and final trick is combining everything I've taught you so far into one big trick, the ultimate Azirsec. First I'll show you a quick example as to how it can look like. I've explained this in one video a while ago, but in case you haven't seen it or in case you want to see it again, there you go. I also want to show you guys an example of Bjergsen using this as well, and it's kind of funny because he calls this trick the Redmercy, which I personally think is pretty cool, so check it out.
Are you ready? The Redmercy? The Redmercy? The Redmercy? Oh! Dude, it's like the sandbox mode we never got.
So that kind of got me fanboying just a bit, I won't lie. But either way, let's take a quick look at this trick one more time in slow motion. Again, it's pretty much a combination of everything I've showed you so far. You do the back and forth by EQ into your soldier, going back to your initial location, and right here you press R, you push the enemy right back to your team while also keeping yourself in a very safe position by initially putting you back to where you started. This is the hardest thing to do with Azir, especially in an actual game where you just cannot afford to mess up, because if you do, well, chances are you're gonna be put in a very awkward scenario. But either way guys, that is it for this video. There you have it, 4 advanced Azir tricks. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I want to make more of these advanced tricks for other champions as well, so if that's something that you want to see, let me know by hitting the like button. Either way, I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. Make sure to share this with your friends if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and check out my other videos as well, and I'll see you next time. Peace.